What's up, everyone, and welcome to the first podcast episode of 2022.
That's right. Happy New Year, everybody.
Yes,
Hope
Happy New Year.
Everyone enjoyed their New Year with friends, family, had a great holiday season. We are happy to be back in studio.
Dude, I can't believe it. I just remember getting out of 2020, the year of hell, and then being like, yes, we're in 2021. And now 2021 is over.
Yeah.
Dude,
Someone hit the light speed button.
I don't know. I feel like
For
this is
sure.
a complaint that we say all the time, but it's like,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just always getting faster. It's obviously not, but it feels like it. It's weird.
It never ends.
It's weird.
It never ends.
But anyway, new year means lots of new nerdy goodness, Tim.
That's right.
Tons.
That's right.
TV shows, movies, comics, games, anything and everything in between.
That's right. And we're excited to be back here with you guys, sharing all of that, going through. There's a lot that's going to happen in this year.
Yeah.
Even more so, like 2021 had a really great lineup, especially coming out of 2022 and the madness that went on there. But 2022 is going to be jam-packed. Not just in the world of Geekdom, but even here on Variant, we're going to be doing a lot of new stuff that we have never done before. So very excited for 2022. There's a lot on the slate. But today we're going to talk about the things in Geekdom that we are the most excited about anticipating.
Specifically, I guess, TV shows and movies. That's kind of where we would.
I mean,
there's a lot of comic book stuff, too.
A lot of comic book stuff.
But, I mean, as far as the big stuff that everyone, it's not everyone reads comics, but everyone watches these shows and movies, or for the most part, there's a lot. Going over this list, like, we narrowed it down to, like, what are 3, 5? I have, like, 5, though. I cheated.
It's tough.
It's hard, man.
This year, as I said, this year, 2022 is so jam-packed. It is so jam-packed. So it was very difficult narrowing down even just between movies and TV, not touching comics, not touching gaming, not touching even things like tech, some of the new tech that's coming out. Because I was looking at some of that's coming in 2022. Technology, we all know we're in an insanely disruptive time in terms of just technology. That's where we've got technology coming to the fore now that's just going to change so much about the way that we live and enjoy entertainment and all kinds of stuff. There's some really cool stuff coming out there. So this was an insane, almost impossible list to narrow down to just a couple of things. So we'll focus predominantly as we usually do, movies, television, comics and stuff, but there's a lot more even past that. The gaming especially. There's some crazy stuff coming in gaming.
For sure. We should probably, because there's a lot of stuff to cover in one podcast. So maybe we should do the most excited comic books for a future podcast episode.
Yeah, I think we can probably look to do that
early in this month.
Yeah.
Because right now, at least I think you too, but we just did TV shows and movies for this list right here.
Well, for the most part, I have a couple of comics in mind.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, for sure. The comics is a little bit harder.
It is.
Because they don't announce as much
very true.
in advance.
It's very true.
So it's harder to say I'm going by things that have been building up, particularly in Marvel Comics. Things that I am looking forward to see how they roll out and how they come to a head and stuff like that. One of which I'll just kind of briefly mention, because I'm not going to elaborate on it a ton, in comics is I'm really looking forward to. I've really enjoyed where they started going with the death of Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
And how that's tying into the MCU and so on. So I'm really excited about seeing how that continues to play out, because that's a crossover event that's ongoing in the new year. So that's just like one example. But, more broadly, comics is harder to do.
Yeah, and one that's coming into my head is Josh Williamson's new Batman run. He's on the Batman book now. It's starting in December, but it's really going to be spearheaded into the new year. And one of the big things is he's bringing back the yellow Batman symbol, the yellow oval on his chest, which, of course, we're going to get Keaton Batman in 2022 and Flash. So
very timely on Josh's part.
But he's a great writer. He's been a friend of ours in the show for a while now, so I'm happy for him and excited to see what he does with Batman. But let's get into this, Tim.
Yeah, we'll get into the bulk. And one of the things we're going to say right off the bat, we're taking one off the table up front, because it's the most obvious.
It would be my number one.
Yeah, it would be my number one as well. Of all the things most anticipated in 2022, it's actually coming early in the year in March, and that is the Batman.
Yes.
Everybody is looking forward to that one. We're all, it's kind of like a given.
Battinson.
Yeah, that is coming in. In fact, I have the date here. We have that coming March 4th, to be exact.
Pretty early.
We're getting that very early in the year. We're not far off from it. So that's an easy. We're just going to take that off the table. Number one most anticipated for both of us, I think,
for sure,
in 2022,
leaps and bounds,
is the Batman and everything that's going to spawn off of that movie with now the Colin Farrell's Penguin series, the Gotham PD series on HBO. So excited. That's uno number one. And as we said, we're getting it early. So
we are getting it early.
It's going to be dope.
Yeah, that again, it's just a no-brainer. So,
beyond that,
yeah, with it, kind of like what we did with our favorite Christmas movies and stuff. We had to take off, I believe, The Grinch and Home Alone.
Yeah,
it was like that's like a no doubt. So it was like that doesn't count. That doesn't count.
It was easy. Like, okay, you got to take a couple of these out.
But do you want to kick this one off?
Yeah, I'll start mine. So I'm going to start in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and one of my most anticipated. I just, because it's very different for Marvel especially, and that is Moon Knight.
That's a solid one. I'm really excited for that one.
Man, I have been loving me some Oscar Isaac.
He's great.
Over the last few years. That dude he just gets better and better and better. And he's just all over like Disney's franchises, obviously.
Poe Dameron.
But this is, I don't want to say it's a departure for him, because it's kind of it's in his lane in terms of like performance.
People forget that he played Apocalypse in the X-Men films.
Yeah, man.
Which is crazy.
That's what I'm saying. Like, he's all over like Disney stuff. But anyway, he's playing a character with multiple personalities. That lends itself to the opportunity for a performer like Oscar Isaac to turn in an insane performance. So I'm so curious to see what he does. The little taste that we got just looked great. But the action of this, some of the behind the scenes fight choreography that we were seeing come out of this thing, dude, it looks like some of the best stuff we've seen in a minute.
Really cool.
So I already love Moon Knight as a character. You know, that crazy schizophrenic style Batman-ish character, but also mixed with Khonshu, this moon god of
way more violent.
You have Egyptian lore, which I am also a sucker for. So there's just so many things piled in. So to see them bring this to life, live action, and to get it as a series and not just a movie, where we're going to have, essentially what will, cumulatively amount to 2 movies probably or more.
Yep.
I'm stoked about that one.
I'm very, very excited. I remember in the early days of Variant, back in like the first 2 or 3 years, I remember shooting an episode where it was one of the comic book characters that I said deserved a movie. So all these years later, it's essentially these Disney Plus Marvel shows are essentially movies. And like you said, by the end, when you get like 6, 7, 8 episodes, it becomes like 2 movies pretty much, because they're like 40-minute episodes. So I'm very happy that we're getting it on Disney Plus, because we're actually going to get more of it in the long run than just getting like a 2-hour movie. And then obviously he's going to jump into the big screen sooner or later. It all connects. So we'll see him in maybe the next Avengers movie or something like that. And we haven't even seen the show yet, obviously, but I can't wait to see this character interact with other characters in the MCU. Like, what's going to happen when he meets like Captain Marvel or Black Panther or Hawkeye or any of these characters,
and what characters might show up in his series.
I know. It could be really good. Yeah. It could be really good. What we've seen thus far looks really freaking good. And Oscar Isaac's voice, like we hear him go back and forth between the different personalities he's portraying. I can't wait for it.
Dope.
I can't wait.
It's dope.
Can't wait.
It's dope.
But I guess mine that goes to me. The first one I will mention, a pretty obvious one. It's a Disney Plus show. Would be the Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah, and that's ongoing now.
Because
as you're listening and watching this, Book of Boba Fett is already out. First episode hit December 31st. So,
but I mean, again, we got 1 episode in 2021, but it's really a 2022 series, right? We're getting the rest of it. 7 episodes, so we're getting the other 6 episodes this year. And man, Book of Boba Fett, Tim. I've been. This was my most anticipated.
You have been slobbering all over Mandalorians.
Because the Mandalorians. I've said it on the show. Like the Mandalorians have quickly become like they rival Jedis for me. They're like they're. As of this moment, I would actually.
not for me,
not for you.
I'm just saying. Yeah, you think that.
As of this moment, I think the Mandalorian lore and stuff is just as cool or even cooler. Mythos in the Star Wars universe. I think Filoni and Favreau and everyone involved with just creating this Mandalorian mythos from the Clone Wars TV show to now has done a terrific job and made because everyone knows Star Wars for Siths and Jedis, but now they know them for Mandalorians, Mandalore, because it's just such another rich, great history in the Star Wars mythos, and they're bounty hunters, and they're the only ones who really, besides the Sith obviously, but like they rival the Jedi. The crazy thing for me, which makes them so cool, is like obviously you got Jedi and Sith, they fight each other, right? But the Mandalorians, they don't have the Force, they don't use the Force, yet they still defeat, kill, and rival the Jedi, which is so freaking cool. Like that just shows how powerful they are. They don't even have the Force, yet they're still just as formidable as any other enemy or whatever for the Jedi. True. Really, really cool. Mandalorian's great. Plus, it's Boba Fett, dude. Boba Fett's a character that has, if I remember correctly, he's had around 3 or 5 minutes of screen time in the original trilogy and has become, almost or just as popular as like Luke Skywalker, Han Solo, Darth Vader. Like everyone knows who Boba Fett is. Dude was rarely in the freaking original trilogy, yet he's become such a big character. So they finally brought him back, giving him his own TV series. I'm happy. His new armor looks great. His re-armored version that he got back from Mandalorian in season 2. I am happy, Tim. It's here. We're watching it. I love it.
No, and that is another. It's a perfectly reasonable and one I honestly was anticipating would definitely be high on your list. This show, just like everything else they're doing with Star Wars that falls kind of under the Favreau-Filoni. I don't know how many times we have to say it on the show. We're pretty much the biggest fans. Sure. We're amongst the biggest fans of their work.
I want to get a shirt that says, I support Favreau and Filoni.
It's so true. But what they're doing is like off the charts, great for Star Wars. So yeah, I'm with you. Boba Fett is going to be a fun ride. We're going to get that for the next few weeks here. And we'll be talking about it, of course, here on the show at nauseam. If you're wondering why we're not talking about this episode, the first episode or the second, but the first episode yet is because we shot this early, obviously.
We did. So we haven't seen the first episode.
So we have not seen the first episode as of right now. So,
but I'm excited.
We're excited to talk about it
very excited.
Here in the near future. So be watchful for that. So I guess that leads to my next run, and I'm actually going to go back to comics.
All right,
because there is a story that again also started in December that I really want to see. And Marvel, we kind of mentioned it at the end of the year here on the show. That, everything in DC and Marvel is kind of cyclical, right? Like if Marvel is like on a high note, DC is kind of going through a transition and vice versa. And Marvel has really been kicking it into high gear.
They've been great.
They've been kind of shifting into a new gear on the comic side. They were going through a little bit of a lull there. And then, you had the new X-Men runs start to come out and everything that what's the writer's name? I'm forgetting his name for the X-Men. He kicked off everything, the House of X and
Hickman.
Thank you. Jonathan Hickman. Goodness gracious. I'm sorry for forgetting that. So John Hickman kicked that off and it kind of just started, they just kept ramping up and they've been doing quite a few. And let's not forget everything that Donny Cates was doing under the Marvel House.
Cates.
Chip Zdarsky has a Devil's Reign Daredevil series coming out. It's a bit of a crossover as well. And that series started out really strong. And I'm very much looking forward to seeing what he does with that. It's a very cool concept. For those of you who haven't heard about it, I highly recommend you check it out. But that is going to be ongoing here in the as I said, it already rolled out in December, but it's going to be ongoing here over the next few weeks. So check that one out because I'm going to be reading that. I've been looking forward to that one. It looks very cool.
No, yeah, that looks like a really fun book. Marvel's been doing really good, like across the board. Like everything you've been saying is spot on. And I think I don't want to credit him solely, but I think a massive part. I don't even think I'm going to flat out say factually that Donny Cates has been a huge part of that. Because
without a doubt.
Yeah.
I would say even he's the one who really kind of spearheaded things moving in a new direction.
Al Ewing too with Immortal Hulk.
And you do have to give Hickman
Hickman with the X-Men.
Because what he did with the X-Men was totally, he just totally flipped it on its head.
Yeah, they've had a solid. They've had some solid writers like you said, Hickman with X-Men, and then obviously Al Ewing with Mortal Hulk that wrapped up recently. Amazing run, which Case is actually kind of running with his new Hulk run. But yeah, I'm very excited for that and everything Marvel's doing. So I hope they continue this direction because I've been loving a lot of Marvel books in 2021.
Yeah,
like,
there's a lot, and
it's good.
We've got a lot of them on the slate on the main variant channel here in January, the first month. We are going to get to Devil's Reign at some point here over the next couple of months. We have a lot of you guys ask, why don't you, cover these books like right when they come out and stuff like that. We really believe in giving the creators their due.
Letting the story
letting the story have some time to breathe, letting the creators have some time and some buffer to tell their stories. We're not as big on being the first one. We want to allow the creators to let their story get out there and let people read it the way it was intended first before we come in and just spoil the whole thing.
Right.
Because we're creators ourselves, we know what that's like. So if you're in that camp of wondering like, oh, why is Variant kind of slow to getting or putting out coverage of these stories? That's why. We're very careful of that, and we want to be as respectful to the people that work very hard to create these stories and bring them to us as possible. It's also why we tell you in the episodes, go get the book, read the whole thing, support these creators. It's very important.
For sure. 100% agree with that statement. I know, it's something that I even did with Astonishing Times. We would purposely wait to talk about it because it's like, you got to give it like at least a month or so to breathe.
Yeah.
Because it's
we scheduled even for every episode or every issue of Astonishing Times, we scheduled the follow-up like a month later. Yeah. For the same reason.
Don't want to do spoilers. And it's just the thing where it's like, I don't want to give everything away like 2 days after the book just came out, you know? So
and the Devil's going back to the Devil's Reign story, like that story, like I said, it came out in December, it kicked off then. It's a story that had been building up, Zdarsky's Daredevil series. So it kind of ramped up through that to where now it's this big story around Wilson Fisk, Kingpin. And, he's basically taken over New York.
Which is crazy because we're going to get every character lives in New York. We're going to get Spider-Man, like Luke Cage, all that stuff.
He's going to war basically with all of the superheroes, Marvel superheroes that are in New York.
Which is really cool.
Great.
Really smart.
Super cool.
So it's going to be a fun team story, which
I agree.
I'm excited for. But does that bring me to my next one?
You're up.
Oh man. Where do I want to go? Should I jump? I'm going to jump in the movieverse. I'm going to drop a big one. Pretty early on.
Oh, that's fair.
I'm going to drop a big one, Tim.
There's a lot.
There's a lot of big ones, but is this my most anticipated movie of next year? Probably, maybe. Think so. I'm just going to say it. Flash. The Flash.
That's pulling a big card.
Coming in November of 2022.
That was on my list.
Dude, so
that's on my list,
okay, first, well, there's a lot of things here. Two big ones. It's the first live action Flash movie ever, solo live action. So we've seen him obviously in the Justice League movies. I say movies because there's a
Batman v Superman and
we did see him briefly in Batman v Superman, but briefly. We saw him in the Snyder Cut. It's the only one I guess I'm going to acknowledge right now. I said movies, but I'm only going to acknowledge the Snyder Cut. So we saw him in the Snyder Cut. So I'm really excited to see a Flash solo movie. We still, as of shooting this, because remember we're shooting this a little early. We don't know who the real villain of the film is yet, which is interesting. But that makes me all the more excited / curious. Who's going to be the villain of this film? But I'm really excited for that to see how they play with a live action Flash movie. But also the biggest draw by far, at least for me, and I'm assuming most people, is the return of Michael Keaton as the Batman.
Yes. Dude, this is why it was also on my list.
Dude, like you and many other people listening and watching on YouTube, like Keaton, when I think Batman, there's two things that pop in my mind. First and foremost, it's Kevin Conroy. That Batman animated series, everyone knows, that's my thing, got me into comic books. But second to that, and a very, very, very close second, would be Michael Keaton. Because without the Tim Burton, Michael Keaton Batman films, we wouldn't have gotten Batman the animated series. Easily. They were literally directly, the animated series is inspired and came off the heels of the success.
Some people might go, films. Adam West, but very different.
Yeah, that's a different era.
Very different.
For my era, it's Keaton and Conroy.
Well, even like the tone, it was more of a serious.
For sure.
Yeah.
It's the first time people would say, especially like Kevin Smith says it, they did Batman justice. We got the dark Batman. But anyway, it's the return of Michael Keaton as Batman. We get to see the original 89 Batmobile. Keaton back in the couch. Like, do I have to say more? Like that? You say Keaton is Batman again, and I'm just like, oh, instantly jumps to the top of my list.
And I think what makes it so great, for me at least, I'm just going to speak for myself, is that it's something I never thought I would see.
It's true. That's true.
I never thought that I would ever get to see him don the cape and cowl again.
As an older
Bruce Wayne Batman, and to see them doing it the way they're doing it, man, I cannot wait to see that. And I'm such a huge Keaton fan, just in general, as an actor, as a performer. I just freaking love that guy. And man, yeah. Come on, November.
And then if that wasn't enough, the bombshell did like, oh, we're finally getting a live action Flash movie. And guess what? It's going to be doing like timeline multiverse stuff. So Keaton's reprising his role as an older, more mature Batman. If that wasn't enough, they're like, why don't we also, since we're doing timelines and stuff like that, we'll throw in Ben Affleck Batman too.
Yeah.
So we're getting Ben Affleck Batman in this movie as well. And that's what we know as of now.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's plenty of surprises.
Yeah. I mean, obviously Keaton for me is
the bigger draw. For sure.
That's the draw.
For sure.
But The Flash is a really important film for what DC is doing overall.
Yeah.
Because just like what Marvel's already been well underway doing, they're cracking up in their own multiverse with this film. They're probably going to be, I say probably, they might be, I anticipate they will be retconning some of the things they've done in the past, making new adjustments, and just blasting the doors open to where it's like everything exists, it's in its own universe, and it can cross over depending upon the storyline. That's huge.
I mean, they announced their multiverse before Marvel even did.
Yes, that's right.
So, I mean, people may be forgetting that because, Spider-Man No Way Home and all and Loki and stuff, but DC did it first. They announced it in the CW. They actually did it in the CW Flash show, where Ezra Miller,
which is a shame.
Yeah, it is a shame, but they still were the first ones to it.
It's very true.
Ezra Miller Flash came over into the CW Flash show and confirmed that like all these multiverses and stuff like that. So, I mean,
isn't
let's
that
not
the
forget
story though between DC and Marvel? Yeah. Isn't that the story, right? Like, Marvel has just done a better job of putting a plan in place, executing it by putting their best foot forward right out of the gate. DC, because they've kind of been all over the place in their decision making, they introduced the concept of the multiverse on this CW event, and they brought Ezra Miller into the CW DC shows as opposed
it's
to
ballsy though, dude. That's a ballsy
really ballsy
move.
You got to give them full marks for balls, like 100% for just being willing to go for it. But you would think as fans, you would like to see a studio and a group of storytellers, because it's comics, it's film, it's television, do something like that in as big a way as possible. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it was a little bit interesting that they chose to do it kind of in reverse.
Yeah. I'm very, very excited for this film because, again, Keaton is 100% the draw, even more so than Flash. I just want to see Keaton. I just want to see Keaton in it. But it's like, so you got Keaton, you got obviously the Flash, it's his movie, but then they're like, you know what? This is a fantastic 3-scoop sundae. This is great. we got your chocolate, your vanilla, your strawberry. But what makes a sundae better? Some whipped cream and sprinkles. Boom. Ben Affleck, Batman. So just over the top.
The Batfleck.
So, because again, that's a lot of people would say, as far as modern live action Batman go, Ben Affleck's the guy for a lot of people. I know I love live action Ben Affleck Batman. There's some qualms I have with things Snyder chose for him to do in BVS and stuff like that. But overall, as far as the way Ben Affleck plays the character, the way he looks, like his gadgets, the Batmobile, freaking fantastic. Love it. So it's like I get to have my cake and eat it too. I get like my favorite modern version of live action Batman with my favorite, I guess, overall version of live action Batman. Because again, I grew up with Keaton, like you and most people listening and watching. So I get everything. And then you throw in the Flash, throw in Supergirl, and probably other characters and stuff we don't even know yet at the time of shooting this video. So I am very, very, very excited for the Flash movie coming November 2022.
I'm with you. You get no argument out of me. That was on my list, as I said. That's one of my most anticipated.
So that does that check both? Check
yeah,
one
so
off
that
for you as
checks
well?
one off for me. So what I'm actually going to do, because like I said, this list was hard to make.
It was hard.
I'm just going to bump one of my others up.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to go back to TV.
Okay.
And I'm going to say one of the other obvious ones for any of you who watch and listen to the show. And that is Obi-Wan Kenobi.
And that was one of mine. And we're back.
And we're back.
So I'm gonna have to bump something up for me.
Out.
There we go.
Obi-Wan Kenobi, the series coming to Disney Plus.
Cannot wait.
Of course.
I cannot wait.
We do not have a date yet, an official release date, but we do know it's coming in 2022. And my God, people, we are getting the return of Darth Vader, but not just the return of Darth Vader.
Preach it to me.
We're getting Darth Vader in his prime. The Darth Vader that I have said numerous times, I want anyone, God help us, to bring me the Darth Vader in his prime. The Darth Vader that made the galaxy dread his presence.
The Darth Vader from the end of Rogue One.
Yes. Bring me that guy. And it's even before then. It's even before Rogue One.
I'm agreeing with everything
we're
here.
we're getting just not long after the events of the Revenge of the Sith.
Yep.
Just a few years later, we're getting the return of Vader in his prime, who is, I assume, going to be hunting for his son and his former master, who was responsible for separating him from his son. And the conflict that results. We're going to see these two go head to head one more time while they can still duke it out. Not, because, in the New Hope, it's that, they're up there in years at this point, right? Especially Obi-Wan. And he's just kind of like, come to me, sweet death, and let me feel your warm embrace.
Force, I am with you now.
I am one with the Force, and the Force is with me. But this is going to be something else entirely, and it is going to be...
Well, the technology now,
dude,
they're younger, they're in their prime.
And they can do anything now.
Anything.
And
you have Ewan McGregor reprising his role as Obi-Wan, and Hayden Christensen reprising his role as Anakin Skywalker / Darth Vader.
So not only did they do it, they did it right.
They did it proper. And again, this was one of mine as well. And everything you just said. We get the concept art we saw of freaking, it looks like Obi-Wan fighting Vader again on his planet Mustafar.
Dude, Darth Vader back in his castle on Mustafar. Come on, man. Come on.
Because we have Oculus, right? Yeah. We both played the Vader game that's on
Vader
there. Vader Immortal. Yeah. And,
I just finished that actually about a month ago. I finished the third one. Because I haven't finished the third one. I did the first two.
I did the first two too. I didn't finish the third one.
You got to do it.
It's so much fun.
Yeah.
I'm going to do this.
I'm not going to say what.
I'm going to do it.
I did it and I was just like, oh man, I'm sad I waited so long. It's freaking fun. You come face to face with Vader on several occasions.
I know. I've already.
For any of you who have not played
it's kind of scary. In episode 2 of it, you do.
Because it's huge.
Yeah. No, and the VR is really good. It's great. But anyway, yes, we get to see Obi-Wan fight. We're going to get to see Obi-Wan fight Vader on Mustafar, his castle and stuff like that. The concept art for it looks great. The technology is going to be amazing. I need Vader to do the force throw with his lightsaber, that boomerang throw he does. So I cannot wait.
Dude, it's Vader in his prime.
Dude.
It's finally happening, everyone.
Again, just think of the
potential.
The end of that little, minute and a half scene, 2-minute scene of Vader at the end of Rogue One.
Oh, it was ridiculous.
But an entire series.
Let me tell you something, guys. When I saw that the first time, Rogue One, that scene right at the end, where he busts into the ship, and it's it's the events right before A New Hope.
He's jumping on the rebel ship, yeah.
So, but when he cuts through and everybody's standing there like, what is that? And he just starts tearing people apart,
force throwing people,
force choking while he's just chopping others down. That movie ended, and I was like this. I mean, that scene, because I was like, someone just do that. Someone just do that.
Because that's the last time we saw Vader live action, because he was in the middle of that film a little bit.
Yeah.
We saw him at his castle, and then we see him at the end. So he was like in 4 minutes of the film. But man,
think about this. Think about this. In all the years that Vader has existed as a character in cinematic, history, right? As big of a character, an iconic character as he is, that little scene in Rogue One was the most action we'd ever seen from that character on screen. In all of the movies
Return of the Jedi, Empire Strikes Back, where he's fighting Luke on Bespin.
It was like
that was a battle. That was a battle.
Kind of. It was a lightsaber duel.
Yeah.
And it's certainly iconic. But come on. I mean, it was like listen, no one in the world is knocking. It's iconic. Love it. Amazing. But the fight choreography, it's not quite the same as it is now.
I get what you're saying. Like,
you know what I'm saying?
Not, yes.
Yeah, had the choke. The infamous,
it doesn't, even though we love it, it doesn't age as well. Taking like our fandom out of it, it doesn't age as well.
It's kind of clunky. It's a bit robotic. It's slow.
No, I get you.
Now, what they do in films with this fight choreography is like balls out.
No, it's going to be amazing.
And you're going to have a guy in the Darth Vader suit who's going to be like a trained stunt performer who's going to be, it's going to be incredible.
And Deborah Chow is directing the series. She's fantastic. We know her from the first 2 seasons of The Mandalorian. She's directed some of the best episodes for The Mandalorian. She's kind of in that Filoni Favreau camp, so in her I trust. And I cannot wait to see it.
She's just a phenomenal director.
Yeah, she's great in general.
An incredible creator.
But she was brought, at least in not brought up in filmmaking in general, but in Star Wars, she was guided by Favreau and Filoni. Yes. And who else besides Lucas himself would you want to guide you in the Star Wars universe?
That's it.
No one else.
That's it.
It's like Lucas, Favreau, and Filoni. Those are the 3 guys right now. So, I mean, she understands it. She's probably talking to John and Favreau. Talking to Filoni and Favreau a lot about it. Because we know that Favreau's the encyclopedia for everything that everyone goes to him. So, Ewan McGregor, Hayden Christensen.
And when you hear her talk,
she gets it.
She not only gets it, but she's just she's the type of creator, filmmaker, storyteller that you want on these projects. Yeah. Because you tell she loves the material, she respects the material, where it came from. Can you imagine? And she really wants to do it right.
We talk about this from time to time with a lot of these big iconic projects. Like, I can't imagine getting a call one day and being like, hey Deborah, we need you to come into Lucasfilm or the offices. We got something we want to talk to you about, want to pitch to you. And they're like, hey, so we're doing an ObiWan show. We thought you'd be a great fit. This is the story. Do you want to do it? And this is our idea. And imagine them just being like, hey, there's these little characters called Obi-Wan Kenobi and Darth Vader. We want to do a 6-episode miniseries on it. Do you want to do it? Freaking.
She earned that crap.
She did earn it.
With the work she did on Mandalorian, she earned it.
Very, very good. And there's rumors, Tim. Rumors that Darth Maul also might make an appearance.
I didn't want to say it because the stuff with Vader and Obi-Wan is enough, but yeah, we don't know that for certain.
No, it's rumor.
If that happens, I mean, let's just say, let's put it like this. And I know we're geeking out
because Obi-Wan, Tim,
more so than we have everything else so far. But there's a reason. Think about this: if Darth Maul appears in this series, will this make that series the best thing that Disney Plus has put out?
Quite possibly. If he does, and it's as good as it looks, yes, it does.
I mean, how do you top that?
You don't.
Especially if it's done right.
Although,
if Darth Maul is going after Vader,
but I mean, it's a lot because I'm trying to be devil's advocate, being like that Luke reveal for season 2 of Mandalorian that's hard to top. But if you're giving us Obi-Wan, Vader, and Maul,
oh my god,
you may have done it.
And a young Luke Skywalker.
Oh yeah, because that's right. Because this year we already know for a fact that Deborah said in that little teaser we got during Disney Plus Day that Obi-Wan will be guarding Luke, a young Luke walking. So we're gonna see a version of Luke in this show, and potentially Maul. But dude, because just think of this from a pure Star Wars fan perspective. Just think of the emotion this series can have. So Vader hates Obi-Wan because he thinks is responsible for, the
The
death of his wife, Padme, taking his kids and hiding them. So you have that conflict with Obi-Wan being like, Qui-Gon told me to look after him. He's probably thinking he's failed Qui-Gon Jinn and stuff like that because he went rogue and all this stuff. And, he even says, Obi-Wan even says it to him in Revenge of the Sith. He's like, you were my brother, Anakin.
Yeah.
Like, so it's essentially your brother going bad, so there's that conflict with each other. Then you have Maul and Obi-Wan's relationship, where Maul's responsible for killing Qui-Gon, which is Obi-Wan's master. So you have that feud, and we know how that ends, like from the animation side of things. But so this is the middle of that. So there's still some fight to be happen here between Maul and Obi-Wan. So, dude.
The potential for this series is outrageous.
Just like insane.
If you're a Star Wars fan on any level, the potential for this series is out of freaking control. Out of
100%.
Thus, it is high up on our list of most anticipated for 2022.
So, since you mentioned that, I'm just going to jump.
Since I stole that one.
You stole that one. I'm just going to, it's an easy transition to my next one, which would be The Mandalorian Season 3. Oh, yeah. Staying in that camp. I mean, I know for me personally, The Mandalorian Season 1 reunited my love for Star Wars because I'm a big fan of the trilogy. My dad showed me to those when I was like 10 young. Love Star Wars. I even obviously I grew up with the prequel trilogies. I saw those in theaters and stuff like that and got to see when they re-released the original trilogy in theaters. Right. So those first 6, that's like my Star Wars. But the newer stuff, the newer trilogy, while there's elements I like and stuff like that, didn't do it for me. Didn't capture that childness Star Wars thing for me. Like I'm sure a lot of other people would agree. So when we got The Mandalorian and Jon Favreau's stuff we saw, I was really excited, but there were new characters, but they were expanding on the Mandalorians and Mandalore and stuff like that. And then we watched it. I'm like, these guys get it. Like Favreau, Filoni, like we already knew Filoni got it, but Favreau was working with Filoni. I'm like, this is it. Like, this is what I wanted that new trilogy of films to be. Like, this is the most Star Wars thing since Star Wars. If that makes any sense. And the first season was fantastic, introducing Grogu, Baby Yoda. Second season, even better, giving us Boba Fett, giving us Ahsoka, like all these cool characters. Cobb Vanth, like just all these great new characters. Cara Dune from season 1 and season 2, just bunch of great new characters and iconic characters at the same time, like Ahsoka, Boba Fett. Love it, love it, love it. So now we're getting a season 3, obviously. And the end of season 2 gave us the freaking return of Luke Skywalker.
I thought you were going to say
Luke Skywalker in his prime. Yes. That's like, to me, movies or anything, that's one of the coolest reveals I can remember in recent years.
I would agree with you, yeah.
Just like that. And it was done
from a fan perspective.
From a fan perspective. I mean, it was done on a show you watch in your house, not even on something you go to a theater to see. Blew my mind, the internet's mind. So
the moment you see that X-Wing.
Dude.
It was like, I legit felt like I was 10 years old.
Dude, and then we watched the gallery episode, which you still haven't watched, Tim, where Favreau and Filoni reveal how they pace that, because it's so smart where you get the reveal of Luke, where you see the X-Wing, but you still don't see Luke. No. Then you see a cloak figure come out but you can't really see the colors of the cloak and the costumes or the lightsaber because it's black and white. So you still don't really know what Jedi it is. You know it's a Jedi now, but you don't know. Then you see a green lightsaber and you're like, oh, it's pretty much him. But he's wearing it's him.
So
and then
great.
You finally see it. So it's a slow unveil, even though they already told you, but they're just like giving you pieces at a time that is it Luke? Oh, it's probably Luke. No, it is Luke. Oh my God, it's Luke. So brilliant. Mando himself, easily top 5 favorite Star Wars characters for me in general right now. I can't wait to see where they go with season 3. I have high hopes because they just kept, season 1 was great. Season 2 was better. That finale was insane. The Ahsoka episode even rivals the Luke episode for me. I actually just rewatched that Ahsoka episode a few days ago.
I was literally about to ask what were your favorite episodes were, and because those are my 2.
Yep, the finale and Ahsoka. I just rewatched it.
What order would you put it in?
The finale or season 2 or the Ahsoka one? Yeah. Man, this is tough.
It's so hard because that Ahsoka episode is freaking amazing.
I feel like, to be fair, if you're judging it as an overall episode, I think at this moment, as cool as the Luke one is, I think I'm going to go Ahsoka. Just because it was the first time we saw her live action. Yeah. Rosario Dawson, dude, that opening scene where you just see the white lightsabers and she's all ninja style, stealth style.
Yeah,
you see her team up with Mando. You see him like when they first meet, the Beskar.
The samurai aesthetic of the entire
he blocks her lightsabers with the Beskar. We get the reveal of Baby Yoda's name as Grogu.
Yes.
We get more of like his backstory. Like they work together. Like that's where he gets his Beskar spear.
His staff, yeah.
So
Spear,
I think
rather.
that one, but I mean, you catch me on a different day, I might go to the other one because we also freaking Mandalorian gets the freaking Darksaber in the finale. He fights Moff Gideon. We get Luke. I said Ahsoka, but now I don't know, man. I feel like you can't have one without the other.
When season 3 is coming, we're gonna rewatch the 2 seasons, and when season 3 comes out, we're gonna break down our top 5 favorite Mandalorian episodes.
Those 2 are definitely in there for sure.
They have to be.
Yeah.
But there's other good ones.
There is other good ones. There's a lot of other good ones.
There's a lot of other good ones.
Because the Boba Fett episode.
That's one of the other ones.
Where he gets his armor back.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
So mine, between those 2 episodes, I gotta go the finale.
Yeah.
And then Ahsoka. But they're right neck and neck. But that Luke reveal.
It's a big one. It's a massive.
It was like
it's massive.
It was crazy. And also the ramifications of that for that whole universe and what they might do, and just some of the anticipation of like, Sebastian Stan. Might he actually become Luke Skywalker?
The setup where like, cause in that episode, Bo-Katan says to Mando, is like, look, when you get the Darksaber, it is pivotal that I fight him and take the Darksaber for him. And like
without explaining why.
Without explaining right. But if you watch Clone Wars and Rebels and all that stuff, diehard Star Wars fans like us, we know what that means. Like why she said that. Mando had no idea. He's like, what was the matter? So he eventually beats Gideon. So gets the Darksaber. He walks in with it, and she's like, where'd you get that?
Yeah.
Why you have that?
Yeah, he's like, yeah, I don't care.
You have it.
Here you go.
And Gideon's explaining the whole thing. He's like, no, you don't get it, guy. Like, she can't take it. She could only take it if she defeats you. She has to win that in combat. So telling him, you are now the ruler of Mandalore.
The de facto leader
unless
of the
she fights you and takes it from you. But awesome. So now the season ended with Mando now the new ruler of Mandalore. And the dude didn't even know it.
Yeah. There were so many great moments in that episode that it's literally, I just can't not make that my number one. It was so good.
It's like, again, I picked Ahsoka, but it's like, I feel like that's like picking your favorite child. Like literally, they're both so good for their own respective reasons. Yes. Like, because Ahsoka, first time live action, you see Grogu's reveal, a lot of good things there. And then you get Luke, Gideon, Darksaber. It's kind of hard. It's like, again, which daughter do I love more? I can't answer that.
It's fair. It's fair. That is definitely a tough one.
Yeah, but that
we have to stop drooling over all of these.
It's true. Anyway, back to you. That goes to your pick.
As you can tell, we're fans of what they're doing with the Star Wars series on Disney Plus.
Dude, yeah.
Mandalorian 3, man. I'm with you on that. It was not in my top 3. It wasn't in my top 3, but it's like right there. It's in the top 5.
Okay.
So we're, I'm kind of having to bump things around, shuffle, because we have a lot of similar things.
I'm losing count. How many have we even gone through?
I don't know. I don't even. I think I've done 2. You've done 2.
Okay. Wait, I didn't know. Yes, Flash. No. I said Book of Boba Fett.
Oh, so you're on 3.
Oh, on
3.
So
I'm on my 3rd.
You're on your 3rd. Yeah.
Am I on my 3rd?
Yeah.
Did I say only 2?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. I'm just gonna go with yeah. All right. So my next one is I'm going. This one was actually tough because I'm kind of torn between 2 things, and one of them is going to be my honorable mention, if you want to call it that. I'm gonna go with the one. I'm gonna stick with it. I'm gonna go because
you're fighting yourself.
It's tough. I'm going Black Adam.
Oh, that was one of mine. That was gonna be my next one.
Took another one. Black Adam.
Then I'm gonna take the other one that was probably yours because that was.
What do you think it is?
My next one is gonna be Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness.
Doggone it! It was my other one. Dang it! Yeah. So okay. So whether they both land on the table anyway. Whatever. So Black Adam. Tons is going to happen in this movie. We're going to be getting our first look at the Justice Society of America, the JSA. For me, the biggest part of that is obviously Hawkman, extremely cool, and several of the other characters, but Dr. Fate.
Mm-hmm.
Pierce Brosnan is Dr. Fate. Man, come on now.
Dude.
That is going to be Okay, I'm just gonna say I'm super excited to see that.
No, that's a perfect
To
casting.
see Dr. Fate come to live action in a big budget way is already amazing enough. And then you get somebody like Pierce Brosnan to play that title role. Man, that's gonna be and then of course you have the entire mythology around Black Adam, the dedication that Dwayne Johnson has shown to really wanting to get this right.
Years he's been working on this.
Years and years of trying to really make sure this is right. There's some question marks around it. Like, is he going to have an accent? Like, how is that going to work and all that kind of stuff? But like I said, the dedication and the desire that he has shown to really want to make this right and to make this just a freaking killer addition to the DC cinematic world has me really excited. His sales pitch has got me. But I'm already such a huge fan and sucker. I've said it already, but the Egyptian mythology, same thing with Moon Knight. I am such a fan of that. And, they come from that area of the world, or his character, and, the mythology and all of that comes with it. I'm so excited to see what they do with that, how it ties into Shazam, how he portrays the character, which is just basically going to be like an evil Superman.
Essentially.
It's not Shazam. It's an evil Shazam. But he's going to play it. He's already said 100 times, like, he's going to play it. It's going to be dark, where he's going to be just killing people like crazy.
We saw it in that teaser trailer we got from
turns
Fandom.
The guy to ash.
Yep.
I mean, it looks really dope. And I'm kind of, I'm separating the Batman a little bit because we don't know where the Batman universe is going to fit into all of the other DC films and characters that they're rolling out, right? We're not sure where Matt Reeves' Batman universe is going to fit into all of that, or if it will just be its own thing entirely.
It seems like they're kind of building out their own universe with all the HBO Max shows and stuff.
I have to imagine at some point he's going to become the Batman. But how that will work, we don't know. So I'm kind of separating that. However, Black Adam directly ties into everything else. Shazam, Wonder Woman,
we think
Aquaman. Right. We don't know what they're going to do with the Flash, because it's kind of a Flashpoint story. Anyway, so I'm very excited to see, as his character rolls out, how that leads into, again, the next Shazam movie, Fury of the Gods, the next Wonder Woman movie, Aquaman, and so on. Will it? But most importantly, I want to see if Superman comes into play. And if if they can build it up, dude, to where they introduce Black Adam, he becomes this huge threat, and you've got to bring in Superman and Shazam team up to take him down. I mean, you're already getting the JSA, how that's going to play out, because that's an older team. That
opens up a plethora of possibilities.
I mean, just so many possibilities. So there's just a ton that they can do with that, and I think we're going to get a lot of surprises. And we're going to get a lot of characters we've never seen in live action in a big budget tentpole film that's being really done right. That's definitely got to be atop the list.
Yeah, all the video, the teaser we saw, the images that they're continuing, they keep releasing. Look, this costume looks great. Rock looks great. I mean, I'm super. Again, this was one of the ones that was on my list, because the way the Rock's pitching it, the dedication seems like, oh, this is gonna be like a big one. Like because the Rock is already like the number one actor in like all of Hollywood right now.
I mean, he's certainly the number one celebrity.
Like everyone knows he's like he's become a brand in himself. You could anywhere in the world, people know who the Rock is. So he has a lot to say, right? And they're going to throw a lot of money at it. And this film definitely is going to be a big budget, lots of big things. I mean, it's essentially putting the JSA in it. You're essentially having a Justice League movie, right?
Exactly right.
So it's crazy. I'm just like you're saying. I'm hoping that by the end it sets up some kind of conflict between Superman and Black Adam, where Shazam has to come in and stuff like that, because we know Henry Cavill wants to play Superman.
Right.
We know The Rock has been very vocal that he wants to see Black Adam fight Superman, because he knows Superman's the guy. So Rock being The Rock, big dog in Hollywood stuff, is like, well, I'm going to the top of the food chain. Who's the top of the food chain in this universe I'm a part of? Superman.
Dude.
Like, he just wants to, he's like, if that's the most powerful guy, that's who I'm fighting.
Yes.
So I feel like if The Rock has any say, which I'm imagining he does have a lot of say, we're probably going to see that at some point in the future. Whether it's going to be this movie, maybe not. But I would say somewhere down the line, it's probably going to happen because Cavill wants to play Superman again. The Rock wants to fight Superman again. Now, if you present, they have a meeting, you think they're going to be like, no, I think that's going to work out in one way or another. And I cannot wait. But Dr. Fate looks great. Black Adam looks great. I want to see it. It looks so different too, right? It just looks so different. It's a very different feel from any of the other DC movies we've seen so far.
That's one of the things that's got me.
Yeah, and just if they do the Jeff Johns modern origin for Black Adam,
which it seems like they're doing.
Man, that is such a compelling origin that I am in. I cannot wait, and I'm just so curious to see this movie and hope that it's as good as I hope it is.
I'm with you. I guess similar to Obi-Wan Kenobi as a series for Star Wars, Black Adam comes with just a massively wide gamut of potential and possibilities. And that's what probably has me excited the most about it.
But you know what else has a wide range of possibilities, Tim?
Right there, neck and neck.
Which, since you took Black Adam, we basically just swapped. Is all that happened. Then my next one is Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Yeah. Directed by Sam Raimi of Spider-Man fame.
Same thing, man.
But dude, this is another, again, we're recording this before we've seen No Way Home. Yes. Right? We're recording this still in 2021. So I don't know what ramifications or what happens with Doctor Strange at the end of that movie or what, But from what we've seen from the trailers, what we know from Spider-Man No Way Home, multiverse is happening. We got Electro, we got Goblin, all that stuff. So, and Doctor Strange and Spider-Man are like the two big heroes in it. So I could only assume that whatever happens at the end of No Way Home is directly going into Multiverse of Madness as No Way Home is dealing with the multiverse.
Alongside events from WandaVision.
Toward
the end of WandaVision.
And potentially Eternals. We don't know as of now how this is all linking
together. Because we know 100% confirmed that Wanda is playing a key role in the film.
It could also attach to the events of Loki with the time streams breaking at the end of that season 1 finale with Sylvie and stuff like that. Point is, Multiverse of Madness. It literally has Multiverse of Madness is the title. That just opens, like, what does that mean? It could mean anything. Yeah. Multiverse, like, who's in it? Who's in this movie? Anyone could be in it. It's the multiverse, and then you're saying madness, where leads me to believe things are crazy and jacked up. So what's happening?
I wonder. I'm not going to speculate.
I'm just so excited because a title like that, after what we already know is happening in No Way Home, is like, what are they doing with the MCU? What is happening? So you got the timeline splitting in Loki first. Then we got No Way Home, where it's full on bringing Spider-Man characters from the multiverse. And then we have the Multiverse of Madness that deals with the events of after No Way Home. So, like, what do they have in store for us? Because in Doctor Strange film, I'm imagining it's not just going to be Spider-Man, alternate versions of Spider-Man villains and stuff like that. It could be anything.
So, I mean,
anything. We could freaking have Chris Evans, Human Torch in this movie for all we know. Can you imagine that? Multiverse of Madness, they get him back. We get freaking
like a little cameo.
Dude, that would be amazing. The Hugh Jackman, it's the Multiverse of Madness. So any previous thing that's happened in Marvel TV or live action TV shows or film is fair game. Technically, Blade, what is Snipes? Oh my God. Comes back as Blade briefly.
It could happen.
It's the Multiverse of Madness. Anything could happen. So I'm just very excited for that. We don't, again, at the time of us talking about this, we don't know much, but that title alone has got me jacked.
But the direction that everything has gone for the entirety of 2021, and then even the movie and film announcements and television show announcements that we've gotten from Marvel that we know are coming, you can kind of start to get, you definitely can see the direction things are going now. Yeah. With what we've already seen and the characters that have already been introduced, especially things that have gone on in Loki and so on. You can see how this is about, they're just breaking the thing wide open, and how characters like Doctor Strange are going to be right smack dab at the middle of it.
It's true.
So yeah, I 100% agree with you. That was right there. That's what I was struggling between, was Black Adam and the Multiverse of Madness. And very similarly for Kenobi, it's for the same reasons because of the potential of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's Marvel more so than with Black Adam. There's been with Marvel leading up to Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. There's like this ramping up, right? They've been building towards it. It's the first feature film for Marvel. Well, you have to count Morbius to some extent, I guess, because of what they're doing. Kind of
say Marvel Studios proper.
Yes, there you go. We'll say Marvel Studios main MCU. Yeah. We won't count the Sony crossover stuff just yet. But it's the first major film for Marvel of 2022, and it comes in May. It was, I believe, March,
which is crazy that we're getting So like, wait, Multiverse of Madness comes out in May.
May now. It used to be March, but I think they moved it because of the Batman.
Okay, see, I forgot about that. That means, dude. That's okay. It comes out in May. We have yet to get a poster, a teaser image, let alone a teaser trailer, which tells me the events of No Way Home is going to be a direct spoiler for that movie. So they're not going to show us anything about that movie until No Way Home's out.
I mean, they told us that early on when you see in the trailer where, you know, Doctor Strange is on the Statue of Liberty and something's breaking through and he can't stop it. Right? Like in that
but think about scene, that. Think about that because
everyone's listening to this now going,
you guys are
you guys are idiots.
We're doing it in the past. We're on Christmas break. Sorry. So it's crazy to think because remember everyone was like, when are we getting the No Way Home trailer? When are we getting the No Way Home trailer? Right. We didn't get it till like what, 2 months before it's released?
It was right on top of it because of the amount of spoilers. Right. You can't. There's almost nothing you can show without spoiling.
That's what I'm saying. But that never happens with movies. You usually get a trailer, like a teaser trailer at least, like a year before the movie comes out. And think about it: if Multiverse of Madness is coming out in May, we're gonna get a teaser trailer like what, 2-3 months before that as well. That's crazy.
It's very similar with Black Adam.
It's crazy, yeah.
Same thing with Kenobi. Like these are coming out relative, you know, well, we don't know about Kenobi just yet. True. It could be late in the year, but all intents and purposes, it seems like it's going to be like mid-year. So you're only a few months out. Whereas again, as you just said, we typically get trailers for a movie, like an actual trailer, like about a year out now. That kind of became the norm. Yeah. Now, I mean, they're bringing us right on top of these films because there's not much you can show, you know, without spoiling it. So they know in advance, we are only going to have like 1 or 2 trailers for this. We're only going to have like a couple of things that we can show instead of, you know, the typical, you get one in a year in advance and then they'll roll out like 3, 4, 5 different trailers. Yeah. With these movies where there's such huge ramifications for these universes that they're building, they can't do that.
Yeah. It's really freaking crazy because I remember complaining about the opposite thing where I'm like, why are you showing us a teaser trailer for a movie that's coming out in like 2 years? It's a year and a half, 2 years. It's like, that's like too far in advance. And now it's like, so you're going to wait like a week before the movie to show us a trailer?
Yeah. You know, and I'll be honest, I like it better.
Do you?
I do. I like it better because you know it's coming and it kind of builds up this fun anticipation. Yeah. And then when it drops, there's a lot of hype around it. There's a lot of excitement. It's like, oh my God, it's famous. And you don't have to wait long to get it. Whereas, you know, you get a trailer a year beforehand or you find out you get a trailer and it's like, this movie comes out in like 2027. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like with like the Taika Waititi Star Wars film that they announced, right?
Yes.
They announced that like over a year ago. And I'm just finding out that they're not anticipating that movie won't even drop until like 2025. Between 2025 and 2027. I mean, it's like, why did you announce it in 2020?
It's like, but you'll get this in 6 years.
Yeah, like 5-7 years. Like, that's crazy. Like, you've completely forgotten about it. So it's like pointless to even announce. Yeah. So I love having it to where they give you your trailer. That's the tease. It's the lead up. And then you only have to wait a few months and boom, it's there in theaters or whatever.
Yeah, it's solid, but it makes me all the more curious. It's just like, so there's things that you can't show anything without spoiling No Way Home. Yeah. Like, what if, like,
and the focus was so heavily on Spider-Man No Way Home. Marketing.
They didn't probably want to take away from it.
Yeah, take anything off of that. And so
I think it's funny, like, because again, we're recording this pre-seeing No Way Home, where everyone listening and watching this already knows what happens at the end of No Way Home. So at this time, when I'm like, who's coming in? Doctor Strange saying you can't stop them. Like, who is it? Is it more villains? Is it X-Men? Is it, I don't know. What is it? I want to know.
And actually, in real life, Arris knows right now.
It's true. Whoa.
Arris's future self.
Oh my God.
Has all the answers.
Wait, is this like a weird paradox multiverse thing happening right now?
So right now,
Yeah.
you actually know. Let that sink in.
That's science.
In fact, we both know.
Ooh, wow. But does that bring our list to an end?
I'm going to throw one more out.
You're going to throw one more
I'm going
out?
to throw one more out.
Oh my gosh.
And it's going to be comics.
Okay.
I'm going back to comics.
All right.
Because I got one more thing
Okay.
that I want to say about the comic world. And that is
Thor.
Donny Cates Thor run.
Yeah, I knew it. I beat you to it. I knew it.
Donny Cates Thor run. I am looking forward to seeing because everything that he's doing, because he's got the Hulk now.
Mm-hmm.
He's already rolled out the first couple issues of that. We're going to be covering that here on the show. May look for that on the main channel. The first episode of covering issue 1 will be going up this week. But what he's doing with the Hulk, what he was doing with Venom prior with his Venom run, and King in Black and Thor and everything he's building up towards, it very much feels like it's all leading to something else.
Yeah.
So I am very much looking forward to finding out how this is all these different things that are going on. Because Al Ewing, who was on Immortal Hulk, is now running the Venom title as well, and is continuing that.
They like swapped, which is really funny.
Swap titles. Although Cates' Hulk series is a 6-issue mini, so he's not really taking over the title per se. But Ewing is taking over the Venom title, or he already has. So I'm very curious to see, because Ewing is just continuing what Cates already set on its course with, Eddie Brock being the new god of the symbiotes and his son Dylan being the new Venom. And there's a bunch of conflict that's coming into play there now in that title. But I'm really looking forward to seeing how some of these things start to kind of come to a head in 2022 with all these titles, because especially because we know lurking in the distance, we've got the Black Winter.
Black Winter, yep.
Is going to be that story arc is not over yet.
I want
that character.
The Infinity Hammer. Okay.
Dude.
I want freaking Thanos with the Infinity Hammer.
And it's all building to something big in the
Really
Thor
big.
title. Things are ramping up. So we already had the King in Black event, which was massive, right? With Null and all of the events, and Eddie Brock eventually becoming the god of the symbiotes. But he's been building up to something else.
Yeah.
And he's already told us, y'all aren't ready for how not done I am with the Black Winter, right? So we're leading to something, and I'm desperate.
Talk about a slow burn.
We don't know. Yeah. And he's been very good at that over the years. But I'm very curious to see if some of that starts to really, and we get another major King in Black style event.
That event was great.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
That was really good.
So I'm very much looking to see how all of these things start to come to a head and play out in 2022 in Marvel Comics. DC is, again, they're going to be doing some cool stuff.
I got a DC one.
You have a DC one? Oh,
Tom Taylor.
Is it the Dark Knights of Steel?
Dark Knights of Steel.
Yeah.
It started in 2020.
That was on my list.
Yeah.
But I had to go Thor first because
it started in 2021, but we're really going to see it ride out in 2022. And
no pun intended.
Yeah. And the first 2 issues have been fantastic. It's such a unique. We say it all the time. Tom Taylor, Tom Taylor's a fantastic writer all the way around.
Yes.
But he really shines when Marvel or DC are give him an Elseworld, or just take these characters to your own universe, and you can kill whoever you want. You can bring back whoever you want. So when he's allowed to just take these characters and do whatever he wants, just run with it with no limitations. Oh, you can't kill this person. You can't do that because they're doing this. Just do whatever the heck he wants. He shines a lot.
Big time.
He is great at that. And so with these Elseworld alternate universe stories, like Dark Knights of Steel, fantastic.
Yeah.
It's a medieval it's basically the DC universe in medieval times. So we see a Batman, how Bruce would be Batman in medieval, what Superman would be like in medieval times. It's just so great, so compelling, really cool twists with Batman and Bruce himself. He may be related to a certain superhero, and it's really, really cool. And I can't wait to see how it continues to roll out in the next year, because I say it all the time. I've said it on the podcast for years and on the show. I am such a sucker for Elseworld stuff because of that. Because you could just it's fun to just be like, I love continuity and stuff in, the core of these characters, but it's fun to be like, we can make Batman kill. We can make them do it. You just go do your thing. It's just fun to see characters do different things. And Tom Taylor is a master at that. And for that, I am really digging this new series and can't wait to see where it goes. Hopefully it becomes like Deceased in the sense where it spawns different titles, because Deceased is another thing he did that's similar to that in the sense of it's an alternate reality, and it was fantastic. Spawned several spin-off books that he did. So hopefully we get to see that with this, because what he's establishing, there's lots of things you could do.
Oh my gosh.
You can go here, you can go there, side stories, different characters, lineages that he's connecting. So I'm very excited to see this book continue in 2022.
It's one of the more unique takes.
It is, which is hard to do with DC characters.
Yes, very hard.
Yeah.
And it's not the first time we've seen medieval style used within DC or Marvel. But this overall, it's almost like a Game of Thrones.
Yes,
meets the DC universe. Really, really unique take. And some of the things he's already introduced, we already started covering this as well on the main variant channel. You can watch that first coverage of the first issue went up at the beginning of December. You can find that on the main channel now. But we're going to be continuing to cover this because it's such a unique take. And like you, that was right there on my list too of like things I want to see what he does with it and how it spins out. Because some of the stuff that he introduced, concepts, really super fun. But I'm also a sucker for like that era.
So am I. I love Game of Thrones. It's one of my favorite shows of all time.
It's like, it was like a no-brainer.
The fact that I won't spoil it. Go watch our episode on the first issue if you haven't already. But I will say they basically made Bruce the Jon Snow of this universe. That's all I'll say. Take that as you wish, and it's awesome. Yeah. Bruce / Jon Snow hybrid. It's amazing.
Yeah. It's a lot of fun. And I'm with you. I want to see where that goes.
Yep. But that brings our excitement of 2022.
Yeah. And what an appropriate way to end this episode of Most Anticipated with a couple of comics.
It only makes sense.
That's right. That's right. There's a lot to look forward in 2022, and we're going to be right here covering all of it, of course. For sure. With all of you guys.
Dude, with all the movies, all the shows. It's great for us though, because it gives us a lot of, episode ideas and stuff, because obviously we'll be doing episodes around Vader, Kenobi, Strange, Black Adam. It's just it gives us, a plethora of options and content to cover. Yeah, it's gonna just, as always, we'll be joining you guys in the fun and just bringing you as much of fresh content as we can. But stay with us in 2022, because we got some new things that we are going to be doing, as I said at the beginning of the show. That's going to be in some ways some new directions for Variant and some exciting new things that we're going to be introducing that I am very, very excited about as well. So excited for a brand new year. And I hope we wish all of you guys a great 2022 as well. And upward. That's right. But yes, hope you guys have a great new year, new 2022. Let's, what is it? New Year resolutions? You got any New Year resolutions? No, I try not to make New Year's resolutions. So you don't let yourself down if you don't do it? I don't like setting goals and breaking them, so I try not to. Although I do write down every year. I've been doing this for many years. I write down things at the end of each year. I write down goals that I did set throughout the year, and I go over, okay, what did I achieve and where did I fall short? And then I set out a list of goals for the following year. But it's not a New Year's resolution. Right. It's just, okay, what are the goals? And then some of them are personal. Yeah. It's how do I better myself in the next year? What are the things that I was working on, and okay, how do I build on that? And then some of them is, the other half is business, and that's funny. So that's my version of a New Year's. I don't really do resolutions that much either, although there's certain things, I guess, internally that I'm like, I want to do that by the end of the year. Yeah. So we'll see. Life goals. But with that said, guys, we'll see you next time when we talk about all things comics.